Roland has just released the Phantom Zero, and it just might change my mind about ModiX being the best budget workstation out there. Roland just sent me an email about Fantom, and I was confused because Fantom is like, it's been released a while ago, so I was confused about what new Fantom and this new number on the side, like Phantom Zero, like what is this? And what they did is they released a more affordable Fantom for gigging musicians, following the footsteps of Yamaha on their Modi X series keyboards. This is very interesting news because we're going to get the same sound engine, the same sounds, most likely from the Fantom, which is their flagship model, but for like almost half the price, like just like a fraction of the cost. Now, I was previously on the opinion that the best budget keyboard out there is the Yamaha Modi X. You can see why on my other video, breaking down why Modi X is the best budget workstation out there. But as good as the Modi X is, and as good as their flagship, which is the Montage, Roland one-upped them by releasing the Fantom like a few years after the Montage. They packed it with all the features that any keyboardist would want. Now, having tried both the Modi X and the Montage, I could personally say that their sounds are practically the same. Now, following that logic, we can assume that the sound of the Phantom Zero is just the same as the sound of the flagship model Fantom. And if you're somebody who wants that sound but can't afford that flagship model of theirs, now it's a little bit more reachable for you. Now, looking at it, it has all the basic functionalities that the original Fantom has. I think most of the differences is the hardware that they used on the Phantom Zero. I think they used the same material as of their previous budget workstations like the FA and the Juno series. They also minimized the LEDs that the Fantom uses. They changed some colors and they minimized the synth section that it has. They also use like smaller buttons for the 808 section. The Fantom was always a combination of all the things that Roland does and all the things that a producer or a keyboardist would want or need. Like, it has a synthesizer section, it has an organ section, it has the 808 section or the drum pad section, and for good measure, they even threw in a touchscreen because it's a thing nowadays. Then aside from that, they threw in a bunch of switch buttons that you can find useful, some rotary encoders, and faders for your layers or whatever you want. Plus, they threw in the sequencer and just everything. They just like basically the Fantom is like a showpiece, a culmination of everything that they do. They just threw everything in there. Now, the Phantom Zero series, on the other hand, is stripping down all those fancy stuff and just focusing on all the things which the musician will actually use, which in turn reduces the cost. Plus, the material, they reduce the cost of the parts. They use the parts that they have in their previous models, so therefore, reducing the cost even more. Now, they remove more LED, like Phantom 6. They remove the showy aspect of the Fantom. No. They remove the showy aspect of the Fantom, like the LEDs, strip down some of those LEDs. They're like, oh, you don't need that. Like smaller buttons. They remove the synth section. Maybe not many people really use that part because it's like a studio thing, rather than a gigging musician thing to like mess around with those with the synth section. They reduce that. So all of those things culminating into like reducing the price, because sometimes those big expensive keyboards, you don't want to bring it on like a gig down by the street, regular gig, just and just abuse it. You want something that's cheaper but with the same sound, hopefully. That's why I have recommended before the Modi X. Great sound for the value. It's the best price to function ratio keyboard out there. But I don't know, because of this Fantom Zero series that Roland just released, it might change my mind. Although the Fantom Zero is more expensive than the Modi X, it also gives you more functionalities. Like in the Modi X, you only get 4 faders. Here you get 8. In the Modi X, they give you 4 rotary encoders. Here they also give you 8. Modi X has a touchscreen. The Fantom has a touchscreen plus the wheels on the bottom. The Modi X doesn't have a drum pad section. The Fantom has. So it has a lot of these things that the Modi X don't have. Plus the sound. Plus it's more recent. It has those newer technologies. Plus it has this dedicated sequencer part. Basically, for the added cost, you're also getting added functionality with the Roland Fantom. If you have the Modi X, Fantom will sound different, I can tell you that. So you can have both basically, but if you can only choose one, if space is a factor to you, then that could be your deciding factor which one you will choose. That's another advantage of the Modi X, is the length of it. The Fantom is a little bit wider than the Modi X. Modi X it doesn't take up much space. Yeah, it's a very good space saver. We're talking about like 6 to 6, okay? 6 octaves, 6 octaves. The Fantom 06 and the Modi X 6. Because once we go to 88, I think the Fantom still occupies more space. These are the factors that you can weigh in purchasing the keyboard, because although this new Fantom has its upsides, the Modi X also has its advantages. Like to me, if I would be gigging and probably on the show, your sounds are all set, you're not gonna change anything drastically within the set, I would consider more the weight and the length, because you'll be traveling with it. It's really a hassle to bring along like a big keyboard. I can't understate that. When you're looking at it and just sitting in your desk, you don't notice these things. But once you put it in a bag, carry it to your car, go to the gig, and then you have to set up, and now you have to tear it down. Those things add up, and carrying less weight, it's something that you would appreciate once you get going and you're bringing your stuff to the car and all those stuff. So as Roland now surpassed Yamaha being the best budget workstation keyboard in the market, hopefully I'll be able to try the Fantom Zero series and get a feel for it. Then I'll let you know. Roland, if you're watching, I can review it. Now, the question is, which one will you purchase if you can only choose one? Let me know in the comment section down below. This has been Japs, and this is Keyboard News. Thanks for watching. Peace.